pages, just that one page. The number went up a little bit.
What number?
The one that I had told you.
When I saw this, I knew we were in trouble.
Good morning. Let me welcome you this morning to this Drainage District Board of Directors meeting of the day, October the 15th, 2013. Present are Commissioners Precinct 1, Palacio, Precinct 2, Palacio, Precinct 4, and myself. We have a quorum. Anything under open forum?
I don't believe anybody had signed up, Judge.
Our consent agenda.
There are no concerns.
Move for approval.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item 4.
Item 4A, approval of supplemental agreement, 2013 bond series. A, approval of supplemental agreement number 1 under Precinct 1, 2012 bond referendum. Improvements, project professional agreement with TEDSI Infrastructure Group as it relates to subcontract and assignments. Basically, they submitted a supplemental to add some additional consultants onto the project.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item B, approval of work authorization number 12 for TEDSI Infrastructure Group, Inc. for legal rights services as it relates to the Lower Rio Grande Valley Regional Water Management Program, formerly the Delta Watershed Project, estimated not to exceed $206,463.14.
Move for approval.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item C, approval of work authorization number 13 for TEDSI Infrastructure Group, Inc. as it relates to the preliminary design report services to the Lower Rio Grande Valley Regional Water Management Program, formerly the Delta Watershed Project, estimated lump sum not to exceed $1,501,058.36.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item D, approval of work authorization number 7 for TEDSI Infrastructure Group, Inc. as it relates to the Spanish Palm subdivision outfall improvements, estimated amount $53,087.60.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item E, request approval of final negotiated agreement with Yonel Garza Jr. and Associates that relates to appraisal services for Precinct 1 Adams Black Subdivision Drainage Improvement Project, approved for negotiations by the Hidalgo County Drainage Number 1 Board of Directors on September 10, 2013. This is the same rate that we're paying on our other appraisal services per appraisal.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item F, requesting approval of final negotiated agreement with Valley Land Title Company as it relates to title company services for Precinct 1 Adams Black Subdivision drainage improvements.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
And Judge, Commissioner, just for your information, we are alternating on title company services for different projects that y'all requested.
As far as the price, I mean, it's governed by the state.
Yes, sir. It's just trying to give an equitable 10 parcels here, 10 parcels there as a need going out, but trying to make sure that we keep it documented. So in case in the future somebody comes up and says, well, I never did any work, we have the information as to how many were shared or who was doing what work.
All right, sir.
Judge, Commissioner, we do have an item under closed session under pending and potential litigation if the board wishes to entertain it.
All right, pursuant to 551071 and 072 of the Government Code, need a motion to proceed to
Second.
executive session.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Let me have your attention, please. We're ready to proceed. We're back in open session under our Drainage District agenda. Mr. Garza?
Judge, Commissioners, there was no action taken in executive session. We will just proceed as directed on the item.
Move to adjourn?
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you very much, Judge, Commissioners.
Thank you, sir. Good morning. We want to welcome you this morning to a regular meeting of the Hidalgo County Commissioners Court. For today, October the 15th, 2013, President R. Commissioner Cuellar, Precinct 1, Commissioner Palacios, Precinct 2, Commissioner Palacios, Precinct 4, and myself, we have a quorum. Please join us in our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Father in heaven, we thank you for this day. Thank you for the opportunity of living in a free country. Please help us to have wisdom, help us to have patience, help us to get through the business of the day as well as we can, always thinking about the taxpayers of the county. And please, dear Lord, we do thank you for the rain that you have sent here and there. It always helps to not be in a drought condition. And please bless all our families in this country and all the people who fight to keep it free. In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen.
If you would please join me in a moment of silence. We have a young lady and lived in our county community for 88 years that passed away. Mr. Baldeguerra's grandmother. Mr. Guerra is our executive director, who's been a county employee for 27 years. The lady's name is Beatriz, known as Nena Jimenez from San Juan. Thank you. Are there any concerns with the consent agenda, sir?
Yes, Judge, I would like to ask that consent agenda item 3A be pulled for discussion.
All right, need a motion to approve.
Second.
Subject to 3A. Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. What's 3A about then?
It's about, let me read the agenda caption, Judge, just for the record. It's a two-part, approval of the 2013 interdepartmental transfer from within Fund 1342 to Program 87 in the amount of $252,477.53 to fund facility modifications to incorporate Motorola and 911 equipment at the Sheriff's Office. And the other part is also the same thing from Fund 1336 in the amount of $7,020.47. Those expenditures, in my opinion, based on accounting standards and on county policy, cannot be made out of certificates of obligation. It would have to be made out of the regular general fund or any other sources, but cannot be made out of that certificates of obligation. So I recommend no action on that, Judge.
Sergio, what?
Judge, Commissioners, yes, if I may, I handed out a copy of the Capital Asset Guide, which is the county's guide to capitalizing expenditures regarding our capital infrastructure. I specifically gave out pages 7 and 8, which deal with building improvements. The definition of building improvements are capital events that materially extend the useful life of a building or increase the value of the building or both. It mentions that a building improvement should be capitalized as a betterment and recorded as an addition of value to the existing building if the expenditure for the improvement is at the capitalization threshold. That threshold was approved in 2001 as $50,000. This improvement that we're doing will be in excess of $325,000. We've already expended $47,000, a little bit over $47,000 in engineering and architecture services for this improvement, and the low bid that's going to be on the agenda during the regular session is going to be at $259,000. So we feel that this clearly exceeds the capitalization threshold and should be capitalized as an addition to the value of this building, and as such be afforded to be utilized capital improvement funds for this expenditure. So we're requesting from the court that court authorize us to capitalize this expense and to be able to utilize CO funds for this.
What do you think, Steve?
I think as long as you follow your policy, which is what they're doing, it should be capitalized.
Yeah, but the policy is not being followed. That's my issue. The policy is, it's got a two-prong test. One is the $50,000 threshold, and the other one has to be material enough to increase the life of the.
What is that second one?
It has to be material enough, Judge, and the policy has a definition of what is material. And it says, in order to be material, the expenditures increases the life or value of the building by 25% of the original life period or cost. This expenditure amount doesn't meet that threshold.
Judge, that's the auditor's interpretation of material. Material is not necessarily defined as that. The definition says it must be a materially extend the useful life or value of the asset. As you read, it says it either has to meet the capitalization threshold or it must exceed 25% of the life or the value of the building. It's an or, it's not an and. So based on that definition, we feel that it's not, materially is not being defined as 25%. It's just a determination of the court. Basically, 25% is basically another threshold that can be met, but definitely the capitalization threshold, which is definitely a value threshold, is being met by this policy.
So in your opinion, we're complying with the policy and we ought to fund it?
In my opinion, we are complying with the policy. However, I leave it up to the court to decide whether it is. I've asked legal counsel, Mr. Victor Garza, to look at this, so he'll be reviewing that pending a written request from me. But I don't know, Mr. Crane, would you be able to define that?
The issue comes down to that or. Is that or to be an and, or is an or? And under your policy, that or states clearly it's an or.
So it's either or. So that would make us in compliance.
Okay.
Judge, I don't think this is a legal issue. It's an accounting issue, and as you might be aware, I'm the accountant for the county, and it's my interpretation, and I keep the books of the county, and I also
Well,
have
interpretation of a policy is not necessarily just an accounting issue, it's a legal issue.
but it's also, it involves accounting standards, Judge. You have accounting standards, and you have a county policy to supplement and clarify the accounting standards. So that's what I'm saying. I've interpreted those two standards, and in my opinion, it doesn't qualify. So
As far as
therefore, I
accounting
cannot
standards,
capitalize.
Judge Commissioners, Cameron County expenses building improvements at anything over $5,000. The state of Texas expenses improvements anything over $100,000. Clearly ours is at $50,000. This expense clearly exceeds both the states, the counties, and even neighboring counties. I don't think this is necessarily an accounting issue. This is a policy issue regarding our capital asset guide. And that's why I'm asking the court to make a clarification as to whether that should be an or an and. If it is an or, then I think it does meet the capitalization threshold, and it should be capitalized.
Well, in this case, you provided a policy that obviously states it's an or, it's not an and. And in this case, Steve Crane is attesting that that's what it is. It's an or, which would make us in compliance to the policy. So, I mean, I have a hard time understanding the
Yeah,
differences
we have no
of
other
opinion.
than this need for discussion. Maybe we ought to proceed to act on it. I would entertain a motion from any member of the court.
Well, in regards to our policy, because it's or and it's from my perspective, we're in compliance, I make a motion for approval.
Second.
Aye, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Judge,
Thank you, Judge
again,
Commissioner.
just for the record, I won't be able to capitalize it, but just wanted to state that for the record.
Well, for the record, I think you would accept you can handle that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge Commissioner.
Thank you, sir. All right, at this time, we're going to be proceeding to item number 6C. We're honored with members of the Andrew Jackson Elementary and from the McAllen Independent School District who are here today so that we can acknowledge their winning the 7th Annual Scholastic Summer Challenge.
Good morning.
Mrs.
Yolanda Chapa from the County Judge's Office. At this time, we would like to recognize Rachel Arcaute, who is the Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum at McAllen ISD. When I call your name, if you'll come up and join me up here. We also have Sam Saldivar, School Board Member, Larry Esparza, School Board Member, Debbie Aliceda, School Board President, Hilda DeShaso, School Board Member, Erica de la Garza, School Board Member. And with us also is Sylvia Ibarra, the principal of Jackson Elementary. Gloria Covarrubias, the librarian, who was very instrumental with this project. Miguel Herrera, academic coach and Jackson parent. Esther Pina, PE coach and Jackson parent, and worked with me while I was with the district. Viviana Malacara, kinder teacher. Patricia Martinez, PTO officer, and student Ana Martinez. We also have students, already mentioned Ana Lucia Martinez, Delia Pina, Gabriela Isabel Herrera, Aram Garza, Jorge Flores. Is there anybody I left out, Rachel? Another parent or another student? Okay. Student Ariana Macara. As the judge said, we are honoring them this morning because of the excellence that they had through the 7th Annual Scholastic Summer Challenge program. The resolution that the Commissioner Court is honoring Jackson Elementary and McAllen ISD reads as such. This resolution in honor of McAllen ISD Andrew Jackson Elementary for winning the 7th Annual Scholastic Summer Challenge. Whereas McAllen Independent School District Andrew Jackson Elementary aims to develop inquiring, knowledgeable, and emotional capacities within each child to gain understanding of multicultural diversities for a better and more peaceful, evolving world. And whereas this year, Jackson Elementary participated in the 7th Annual Scholastic Summer Challenge, students were encouraged to read as many books as possible from May 6, 2013 to September 6, 2013. And whereas the goal of the Scholastic Summer Challenge is to motivate all children to read over the summer and build their interest and confidence in reading, and to also improve their understanding skills, comprehensive fluency, and critical thinking. And whereas through technology and a program used on student-issued iPads, students had access to download as many as 20 books at a time, and they had access to read 18,400 ebooks this summer. Whereas Andrew Jackson Elementary held readathons, encouraged competition between grade levels, and used a school messenger automated call system to remind all families to continue to encourage their child to read. And whereas, measured by the amount of minutes that they spent reading, each student averaged 122 hours, 45 minutes of reading, totaling over 6.3 million recorded minutes of reading. Jackson Elementary students placed first in this year's Scholastic Summer Challenge, beating nearly 4,300 participating schools representing all 50 states and 30 countries. And whereas for the notable achievement, yes, go ahead and clap. Whereas for their notable achievement, Andrew Jackson Elementary students will be rewarded with a visit in the spring from Dave Pilkey. He is the author of the best-selling Captain Underpants and will be featured in the 2014 Scholastic Book of World Records, which will be available through Scholastic Reading Club, Scholastic book fairs, and bookstores nationwide. Each school will also receive a personalized plaque. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Hidalgo County Commissioner Court does hereby honor and recognize McAllen Independent School District, Andrew Jackson Elementary, for achieving this distinguished award and for encouraging students to build their interest and confidence in reading. Approved this 15th day of October 2013. Congratulations. This is Mrs. Ibarra, the principal of Jackson Elementary.
Thank you very much. Good morning. I really appreciate this honor that has been bestowed upon us. It means so much to us as a campus, as a district. You know, I'm sure that you know that every day we tackle tremendous challenges in our school with literacy, and we're always looking for opportunities to instill in our students an opportunity to read more, to improve their literacy skills. And this summer, that's a perfect example of what we did, using all our resources, maximizing our resources, our e-books, our iPads that we have available to our students, and of course, the fact that our students were able to maintain and even grow academically over the summer with their literacy skills is what else could we ask for? And I know that I speak not just for Jackson, but I speak for all the schools in the district, because we all have the same goal. And of course, that is to close the achievement gap, to give our students the skills that they need so they can be successful in school and in life. So once again, thank you very much. We're so proud to be here, and we're very honored to be here.
Yeah, Judge, I'd like to make a motion for approval of the resolution. We haven't taken action
We
yet,
have
but
a
I know.
motion and a second. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries unanimously.
We just want to say thank you so much. We're delighted to be here in your presence, and thank you for recognizing how important it is that the whole community gets together. And I just wanted to restate, this is a world record. They did, this is an incredible accomplishment, but they couldn't have done it without an incredible staff. So thank you to their staff.
Congratulations. That they were held up. Congratulations. Thank you. Congratulations.
Judge, I'm gonna put myself in, but I'll decide if I speak or not.
All right, moving on, we're going to be, moving up, we're going to be taking another item out of order, item number 6B. Karina?
Good morning, Judge Commissioners. Karina Cardoso with the Public Affairs Office. We're here today to introduce and welcome Mr. Jaime E. Tijerina. He was newly appointed as judge of the 92nd District Court by Texas Governor Rick Perry. We wanted to take this opportunity to introduce him to the members of the court and to invite you all and members of the public to his swearing-in ceremony that will be held tomorrow. Mr. Tijerina is from Mission, Texas, and he was appointed by Texas Governor Rick Perry to fill the vacancy for this position. He is an attorney, a businessman, a veteran, and a public servant, and he brings a wealth of experience to the office, which has jurisdiction in civil actions, divorce, title to land, contested elections, original jurisdiction in felony criminal matters, and juvenile matters. Prior to his appointment, he was in private practice in Mission, Texas, as an attorney with the focus in criminal defense, family law, general commercial litigation, and probate matters. He is also in the United States Army Reserves, where he presently serves as Lieutenant Colonel, Judge Advocate Corps, as Operations Officer for the Legal Operations Detachment in San Antonio, Texas. Previously, he served in an official capacity as County Attorney for Kennedy County, and he's very involved in his community and has held a variety of civic and leadership positions. He is a graduate from McAllen High School and received his Bachelor of Business Administration from the University of Texas Pan American, and he attended the Thurgood Marshall School of Law at Texas Southern University and received his Juris Doctor degree in 1995. I want to introduce him to the members of the court and invite you all to join us tomorrow at his swearing-in ceremony. It'll be held tomorrow, Wednesday, October 16th at 1:30 p.m. He will be sworn in by the Honorable Ricardo Hinojosa, federal judge. So everyone is invited. And at this point, I'd like to introduce Mr. Tijerina, judge.
Thank you, Karina. Thank you. First off, I want to say I'm not surprised that the kids from Jackson Elementary won the statewide award. I think that worldwide, that area surrounding Jackson has produced a lot of great minds that have served the community. That's kind of where I grew up. So. I didn't go to Jackson. I went to Catholic school where I was often at the other end of a yardstick. But I've moved on. I want to thank y'all for having me here today. I want to thank the governor for having the trust in me, and I feel privileged to be able to serve in this capacity. I've been almost a lifelong resident of Hidalgo County. I was born in San Antonio, but my father moved here in 1966 and grew up in McAllen, Texas, and spent the formidable years of my life in Hidalgo County. And I really feel privileged and blessed to serve the people that served me for so long. And I hope I can live up to the court's expectations and the people's expectations for the remainder of my term. Thank you, and hope to see y'all tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Judge, congratulations and welcome to our Hidalgo County community, our Hidalgo County judiciary, and we look forward to working with you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I'll come by and see me.
Thank you. All right.
Morning, Judge Commissioners. Bobby Vidal with the County Judge's Office. Item 6A, discussion, consideration, and action to adopt a plan of finance to refund certain outstanding bonds for Hidalgo County. Today we have Noe Hinojosa from Estrada Hinojosa here to present the item.
Good morning, Judge and members of the court. It's good to see you all back, for bringing me back, actually. Judge, thank you again for expressing that interest of I guess, if anything, inquiring from us about what's out there in the marketplace. And we thank you for the opportunity to come before you. This little handbook that we're giving out to you, if I can just take you to tab 1, page number 3, kind of gives you a perspective of where the market is today. As you probably have heard, Congress is in the midst of coming to terms on what to do with the shutdown. Interest rates in the markets have actually been very uncertain, a lot of fluctuation out there. Municipal entities all across America have not been selling debt as much as in the past. And we find that as an opportunity for some of you who may be able to come out to the market and maybe lower interest rates of current bonds. What we're doing today basically is seeking your approval to give us direction to work with your staff, including County Auditor's Office and your financial advisor, to exercise a transaction where we hope we can bring you savings of about $1 million on about 27 or 28 million dollars of current debt outstanding. If you go to page 3, you'll see some graphs. The one that I'll show you is, or lead you to is the one on the top right-hand corner. There's a little red line that goes crazy from 93 on to 13. That red line is basically your 30-year Treasury debt. And you'll find the 30-year Treasury debt, which is a taxable rate, has been trading under municipal bonds, which are tax exempt. So because of the uncertainties that are out there and actually our expectations that that the Congress will do the right thing, honor in paying his debt and honor its credit ratings and stuff, that we may be able to do in Hidalgo County a taxable transaction that will get us some savings. If you go over to page 4, there's a little quadrant on the right-hand corner that talks about visible supply, a little green line on the top that basically takes you down. That is nothing but a reflection of what the market is doing today. Nobody's borrowing money as we speak on the municipal side. We are currently advising Dallas-Fort Worth Airport and VIA in San Antonio in the next couple of days to doing $100 million financing and $120 million financing, and basically that's all is out there in the marketplace this week. So when I take you to how does this affect Hidalgo County, go to tab 2, and on tab 2, the very first page, 7, you'll see at the very bottom on the second column, $162,385,000. That is what's currently outstanding of the county's tax obligations. Yes, you have a Hidalgo County Drainage District and possibly another subdivision, but what this debt is about is the county's debt, $162 million. So the way you go about paying that is when you go to the 5th column from left to right. You see at the top column there, debt service less subsidy. The subsidy is basically an amount, a very de minimis amount that comes from the federal government on bonds that were issued in the past. But nonetheless, in 2014, you're scheduled to pay about $19,692,000. Today, I'm sure not long ago, probably last month, you adopted your tax rate for next fiscal year of 2014. You were able to adopt a budget. And in that tax rate, $19,692,000 was included as part of your INS interest and sinking fund tax rate. What we're trying to do here, the top of the page says front-loaded. What does that mean? What we'll try to do is accelerate potential savings on this transaction so that at the end, your payments on the very last column on the right will go from currently $19,600,000 to $19,100,000. And then the following year after that, the payment will drop to about $18,200,000. Granted, if the savings can be close to $1 million, I think we can get you those payments in 2015 even lower. What that does, it gives you a couple of things. One is maybe it gives you a little bit of capacity for next year to borrow some, or to shift those savings in this, in next fiscal year and put those savings over to the M&O budget if you need some help with the M&O budget. And I think, Judge, that's something that you and I have talked in the past about. How can we become more efficient, and if there's anything out there to help sustain county operations? For right now, this is all you have. So in essence, when I take you to page 6, on page 6 there, at the very bottom row, you'll see that the refundings back in September, on the second column, September 2013, were about $949,000. That was on a level annual basis, which is what normally issuers do. Whenever they do a refinancing for savings, they do it on a level annual basis. Our concerns here are not to just save money on a level basis, but actually try to get some real juice for the transaction. And the way to do it will be to do it on a front-loaded basis. Anytime that you push savings to the front, you defer a bit of principal within the same debt structure. You just defer a little bit so that you can get the savings and be able to achieve what we were trying to achieve. And at that point, our savings are at $925. What we're trying to get from you, from the court, is a directive that, hey, if you guys can get us $1 million in savings, not less. If you give me $925, I don't want it. I want to get $1 million. Then do the transaction. So what we need to do is, one, come to you, ask for that directive, and then we have to go prepare documents. It takes between 3 weeks to about a month to get them done. And then hopefully at that time, the market will be in a position to exercise the transaction. So I'll stop right there and entertain any questions that you all may have.
All right, let me first of all bring the court up to date as to what you're doing here, so to speak.
Yes, well, here...
I received, I want to advise the court, I received a phone call from Mr. Hinojosa. Mr. Hinojosa, as you all know, used to be our financial officer, his firm, Estrada and Hinojosa. We presently have as our financial consultant the firm of First Southwest. This issue has nothing to do with that relationship. But this phone call was, do you think that the court would be interested in saving $1 million? And wanted an opportunity to come in and explain how we could do that as a county commissioner's court. And that's why Mr. Hinojosa is here this morning. And if there are any questions as to how he, about that, please feel free to ask him.
Mr. Hinojosa?
Yes, sir.
We're going to save $950,000. How much is it going to cost to save that money?
The financing will cost you close to about $275,000 to $300,000 to do, including ratings and everything else.
So the net would be 600?
Yes, no. These are net savings. Okay. What I'm representing to you publicly is net to the county. So in other words, if you were not to pay any of us, your savings will be $1.2 million.
I'm sorry, how did you get from 675 to $1.2 million?
Basically, no. When he mentions to me what were the savings, I told him the net savings were $925,000. When I said to him that this will cost about $300,000, he automatically went down from $925 to $625. No, let's not go back down to $625. You're at $925. If you were to not pay any of us, then your savings would be $1.2 million. Unfortunately,
so you're talking about 9 something being the net.
The net savings.
Yeah, the actual cost, because you'd be saving 1.2, but you got to pay 300,000.
Exactly. And my objective is to not get you 925, but to get you $1 million, so that we can be consistent. So for that, we have to wait for the market to come back up and get the deal done. That's what we're recommending to you, despite the fact that I'm serving in the capacity of an underwriter. I'm the lender. I'm not your advisor, and we'll work with First Southwest Company on this.
Judge, I have a question in reference to the contract. We have a contract with First Southwest.
That's correct.
To be a financial advisor. Can we hire any other financial advisor to do?
I've been told that we could do that on a one-time basis type of a situation. I mean, we're not going to be interfering with the relationship that we have with First Southwest.
Right. But we can hire any other firm
that came to us, and he's knowledgeable about our situation since he used to be our financial officer.
No, I worked with Mr. Hinojosa for many years and have a good working relationship. I was just wondering, if we already have a contract and hire any other firm to do. refinancing or any other financial advice.
That's legal, right?
I do have a concern there. When I reviewed the other financial advisor's contract, and I think there's an argument, and I was told that we are not hiring Estrada Hinojosa as financial advisor, we're hiring Estrada Hinojosa as underwriter.
That is correct.
That's correct.
Thank you for the clarity.
Judge, and I have a concern in reference to this particular agenda item. There's no documentation attached in reference to...
It's a discussion item, Mr. Ocasio. I mean, the issue here is, are we interested in saving $975,000 to $1 million, or?
Okay. I thought you were going to take action to engage him already.
Well, item one is
Right.
Consideration and action.
right.
Right. But in reference to 6A, 2, you're going to engage him and award him a contract. What I'm saying is...
Are you jumping the gun? We're going to step one.
Well, I don't know. You covering 6A1 at this point?
That's what we're talking about.
Okay, all right. Then I guess I'll wait until you get into 6A3.
It looked tough. Six.
Yeah. Indeed.
Thirdly, I'm interested in savings for the county. I think it's a no-brainer. I think even Nebraska would be in favor of saving money for the county.
Yeah, if everything's in order, I think we can save anything for the county. I think it's a good idea, but.
We need about,
My
it's about
opinion.
$21 million, I think.
Joseph,
Well, it'll help a little bit. Get a little closer.
there's a good court aquí porque cannot pick and choose.
¿Qué quieren hablar? Commissioner, do you have any questions?
I have none. I've seen the document and, whatever the will of the court will be.
Well, the issue, again, is the savings, and I want to, first of all, tell you I appreciate your having noticed the fact that we could get involved in saving these $1 million, approximate $1,975,000. And I certainly appreciate your having called me, and now it's up to the court to decide whether or not they're going to be adopting this financial plan that you're proposing.
Sure.
That will lead up to us saving this money in the long run.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Judge, I think, like I said, it's a no-brainer. If it means saving money for the county, then I say let's go ahead and so move.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to proceed to adopt this financial plan. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Judge, item 6A2, requesting exemption from the competitive bidding requirements under Texas Local Government Code, Chapter 262.024, A4, of professional service.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 6A3, authority to engage and approval to contract with firm of Estrada Hinojosa and Company, Inc. for the provision of financial services in connection with refunding options for Hidalgo County obligations. Move for approval.
Judge, I have a couple of comments, concerns on that particular line item. One is funding information was not provided, so we're not able to determine whether you had funds sufficient to cover this engagement. The other one is
Not insufficient what, sir?
I'm sorry, you engaged in someone, and my question is there funding available to be able to pay the firm you engage in? And so, and the contract also was not attached.
But are the funds going to be paid from the money that's going to be saved?
Okay.
Judge, it comes out of bond proceeds. So it wouldn't occur till
Over a
you
period of time?
You went through the bond, so.
Yeah.
So do you have those numbers? See, there's nothing attached, Judge, and that's a concern that I have. I have not been able to review any documentation as far as the cost, how much you're gonna save. I know there's you were provided a plan with item number 1. Are these numbers the ones that are gonna be saved? These are hard numbers?
Subject to funding.
To review with the auditor.
All right.
If I may help.
Yes, please.
Yes, basically, what you're giving us is a directive, which I think the court has pretty much acted upon favorably, and I appreciate that vote of confidence. Now, as we go about the transaction, we'll be working with your council, with your staff, to bring an execution of this directive. And we're about 3 weeks to a month away. During the course of those 3 weeks to a month, there'll be exchanges of information that will include budgets, that will include pricings. So I can rest assured to you that you will have, by the time you make the commitment to exercise the transaction, you will have all those questions answered in full detail.
We will have all the what, Norm?
All the information, all those questions that he's presented to you in
Yeah,
full detail.
that makes sense, Judge, because at this point, you're just giving him direction to go and save you $1 million.
That's
You
right.
don't have any numbers at this point. He's gonna come back to you and he's gonna say, this is what I'm gonna be able to save you.
That is correct.
Number, yeah.
Right. So.
So I
that's
hope you're
basically-
okay with that.
That's basically what I see that you're doing right now. You're giving direction to Mr. Hinojosa to go and see how much money he can save you. He's saying he can save you more or less about $1 million.
But we
Yes.
have to engage him for him to do that.
That's correct.
That's what we're trying to do.
So are you okay if we get engaged and then work with you?
Well, one of the questions was the cost, and I think someone said that you're gonna net it out of the amount you're gonna save, like you
That is
stated
correct.
earlier. It's gonna cost more or less
Yes.
$300,000.
That's
So
right.
that's gonna be netted out of the amount that you're gonna save.
That is correct.
Okay. Now, the contract, have you reviewed it, Steve, or?
The
He's not
contract,
presented a contract.
the
I'm sorry.
contract will be based on, at the day of transaction, you'll have a bond purchase agreement. We will retain counsel, just like you have counsel of Montalvo Ramirez, and our counsel will prepare a bond purchase agreement. In that agreement, the terms will be described as to how much we're going to be compensated for those services and so on and so forth. But go ahead.
There's no engagement letter or anything, Steve, at this point, or?
No, sir.
No, sir.
And there would not be at this point. That's exactly why we're asking the court authority to engage and to contract. We weren't asking the court to approve an engagement and a contract. It's just authority to engage with the firm and to contract with the firm. That document will be forthcoming back to the court.
And that will be the bond purchase agreement.
But on the one terms and conditions, that's one of the questions we always had with the firm, is that, what were the terms and conditions as far as payment? And I know we had the discussion before, as far as how we're gonna pay you. And in the
At the
past, you
day-
will send us an estimated cost of financing, and then we wanted to see actual cost as opposed to the estimated cost. And those are the issues that I think we need to get cleared out.
Compensation for underwriters is based at the day of pricing. Pricing normally occurs the day before the court meets. The court meets on a Tuesday morning. We probably price this deal on a Monday. That is, if the market cooperates and stays with us. If the market goes away, I may not even come back again, for that matter. But if it stays with us, all you have done today is given us a directive that, hey, if everything goes the way we expect, go do it. When we do it, we're not going to be doing it arbitrarily without your consent and guidance. We will be working with you. I need information from you in order to execute it. At the time that we sign the bond purchase agreement, which is an official meeting, we would have had preliminary discussions as to the terms of our compensation. Normally, compensation on a transaction of this size is probably $4 to $5.50 a bond, which means if you multiply $5 over $25 million worth of bonds, you're going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of $120,000 that I would have to use to pay my lawyers, to pay my salesmen, and get that deal done. But it's a market-driven compensation. It's not negotiated right here at this moment.
Judge, one of the issues we had in the past, I need to audit the payment that we make into the firm. And I know he nets it out, but bottom line, we paying the firm for the services that he's gonna provide. And one of the questions we had in the past was, is this a flat rate, or is it based on a percentage or actual cost? And that's one of the things that we gotta resolve.
Are those the kind of questions, Mr. Ofracio, that perhaps maybe you could even get involved in the negotiation of that contract?
But that's what I'm saying. There's no contract that I can review, but one of the questions that I have.
All we're doing is giving our department, a particular department, the authority to begin negotiating and then hopefully enter into an agreement and a contract with Mr. Hinojosa's firm.
Okay, so at this point, you're not,
And I'm not serving as your advisor. I'm serving as your underwriter. You still have First Southwest Company. So you'll be working with First Southwest Company. You'll be paying them to ensure that I don't quote you interest rates that are the market. So you're not working with me in the capacity that you used to work with me on. Now you're gonna be working with me as if I'm lending you the money. And that type of compensation is subject more to market conditions than anything else.
Ray, we're trying to save $1 million.
oh, no,
I mean,
I would like to
that's
say
what it
2
comes down
million.
to.
I think you need 21 million, Judge.
Well, we start
Not a
with
million.
$1 million.
Step at a time, we can get there.
We start with $1 million, then go to your department and get an additional $1 million.
All right,
So that was 6A3?
Yeah.
You
6A3.
approved 2, right, it's approved,
Yeah,
and
move
3.
approval.
You have a motion, a second on 6A?
all right, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Okay, then, item 6A4, approval to designate Estrada and Hosa and Company as a senior underwriter for the plan of finance.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Hinojosa. All right, let's move back up to open forum. At this time, the first presenter is Daniel Diaz.
Danny.
Judge, if it please the court, precinct 3, staff needs to leave on a meeting. If we can take an item out of order just before
excuse
open
me,
forum,
Mr.
it's
Diaz.
actually item number 21A.
Danny.
21A. I'm sorry, Mr. Diaz.
Thank you, Commissioner. Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. 21A, requesting approval of amended interlocal agreement between the County of Hidalgo and the City of Penitas.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Judge.
Yeah. Yes, sir, please proceed.
Good morning, Judge and Commissioners. My name is Daniel Diaz. I'm also here, I work with Lupe, but I'm also here representing the 7,000 Lupe members. And this year we are celebrating the 10th anniversary, as many of y'all know. And I also want to directly, say thank you to those that supported us and gave us some of the some funds to help this event be a successful one. And I particularly want to give thanks to Commissioner Tito Palacios, who just want to give a little sneak peek to one of the full page ads, and just to remind everybody that it's coming up this Thursday. We have Dolores Huerta, who's the founder of United Farm Workers Union, and Lupe, who will be joining us as a guest speaker. And we're still available for anybody that wants to attend in the audience or anybody here from the county. Thursday at the Valencia Center and FAR. So thank you all very much for your time.
Next presenter is Maria Reyes.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Maria Reyes.
Morning.
And I'm from Lupe's organization. I'm coming from San Carlos, from the Colonia Southern Breeze. At this time, I would like to thank Mr. Palacios, Commissioner, because he has given an information about the 3.6 million. And this is gonna be used in the colonies. And also, we're gonna thank you because all his time he has taken. We appreciate. Thank you very much.
And you're welcome.
Thank you, ma'am. Next presenter is Marta Sanchez.
Good morning. Good morning, Judges and Commissioner. Well, I guess today it's Thank You Day. And we are here this morning because we're very excited about what's going on with all the precincts, but especially just to thank all the commissioners who are so kindly support our work. And especially today, I want to thank Joseph Palacios, who took an ad in our program of this Thursday that's coming up. This is not every day that you reach 10-year milestone in our work. And so thank you. Gracias, su comisionado y amigo, como usted lo dijo. Gracias por ser nuestro amigo. thanks for being a friend of the people who lives in Colonias, and we thank you today. And we really hope to see you on Thursday too, at 7 o'clock, as my compañero Daniel said. And so if anybody else needs an invitation, we also have invitations here. Dolores Huerta is 83 years old. It's hard to get her here, so please do not waste the opportunity to see this legendary lady. We still have tickets. Today is the last day that we're going to have tickets available in our website, so please join us, and thank you so much, Commissioner Palacios, for your support.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Next presenter is Fern McClarity.
Good morning. I've got a couple of things. One, you have 9A talking about auto allowance for the district attorney. I noticed that we give the constable $14,000 car allowance. I assume they go out. We see them on TV all the time, and we know they're doing things. JPs, they get $10,000. I believe most of the time they're in the office from 9 to 5. So I'm trying to figure out why someone that is called a criminal investigator 3 would only be getting $3,600. I usually gripe when y'all give money away for stuff, but if this is an investigator, this means he's going out or she's going out checking on things, and just seemed like it was a little bit little compared to the JPs at getting $10,000. Just my opinion. My question today is, does the county close for lunch? Does the Kmart building close for lunch? I think we get our card tags, change our titles, pay your taxes. I believe the purchasing department's in there, the constable's office is there, and several other offices. I'm not sure what departments that are there. But last Monday, after Commissioner's Court, Beth and I went over to see if there was any furniture that was left from the safety department that had moved from the Kmart building to the 10th Street building. We walked through the building and found that there was most of the offices, if not all, were closed. There was one gentleman that was in his office, and then we went around the corner and we found two others, a gentleman and a lady that answered some questions. But overall, there was no one there. And I understand that the head of the department was kind of upset that the public, meaning us that particular day, went through to check and see what was going on. I would like a question answered as to why would be upsetting to anyone going through a building that the taxpayers own.
I will gladly answer that, Fern. Steve?
I'm sorry, but we're violating state law if you respond.
Why don't you sign up for the open forum, Bobby?
We also went afterwards to the old Robert Chevrolet building that's in the back. The elections has one, and there's a storage building. And I have pictures today that I'm going to show y'all. I couldn't get them made quick enough so each of you could get it. But there were leather office chairs, real high back leather chairs, short office chairs out of leather. There were regular chairs that were covered. It could be used in front of a desk when you have customers coming or people, or clients or something coming in. There were also several wooden desks that are stored there, and some of them really looked like they were really good condition and super looking that could be used. There were a lot of boxes they're red, and there are some that are blue, binders. The different departments could use them. These would cost at Staples or at Walmart anywhere from $8 to $13. They're the 4-inch, if not thicker. So our question is, why aren't these items on the county website so each department could see what is in storage, what items are there, and if they could use them? Not just try to see if we can sell them, but we could use them. I know that what caused this to come up was the $22,000 that a constable in Precinct 1 wanted for his new building. He had to have $22,000 of new furniture. I don't quite understand why when you get a new building it equals new furniture. That's a question that we have. But my question is, instead of selling this and putting in auctions, that we look through. Fix it so that it can be seen on the different departments of the county, and people could say, oh yeah, I need some of those, or I need this, I need that, instead of just storing it over there, piling other stuff, computers and all kinds of stuff. Just throw it in there, fix it so that it can be seen, so the different departments could use it. We've already bought it once. Let's see if we can use it a couple of more times. Thank you.
All right, next presenter is Opal Billman.
Good morning. My name is Opal Billman. The legal process must be finished before a divorce can be final, and the judge's decision must be appropriate or fitting to the law. In this divorce action, the legal process was not finished before Joe's death. The divorce was not finalized. Existing law is that the case was to be dismissed April 24th, 2003, because Joe died. The divorce case was over. Because Joe died without completion of the divorce action, there is no court-appointed beneficiary. He was over with the case. An appointee of the court has no legal right to any property owned by Joe and me. He has no position or job in our marriage, our divorce, settlement, or our lives. Joe and I have beneficiaries: 3 kids, 4 grandchildren, siblings, nieces and nephews, cousins, friends, churches, and charities. It is not appropriate to the law that the court, upon our deaths, gives our property, everything we own, to someone that we don't even know, appointed by the court in a divorce action. False imprisonment is a crime. Barratry is a crime. I've reported both. Both are still ongoing. Why? To award Joe the divorce he petitioned the court for? To award me a divorce settlement? Who's kidding whom? It is and always has been about 72 acres of debt-free land owned by 2 people, Joe and me. The land is located between McAllen and Mission and between Expressway 83 and Business 83, where land has greatly appreciated in value. Investment in this land by Billmans began over 70 years ago. We've owned the land for years. It is our home place. Land is owned by deed. Joe and I hold the valid deeds recorded at the courthouse.
You have 1 minute, ma'am.
Okay? Possibly tampered with, but recorded. The land belongs to the estate of Joe Billman and me. The heirs of Joe Billman own the estate of Joe Billman, and an undivided 1/2 is my community property. That's the law. I've waited and expected all of these years that laws that apply will be upheld. Why? Because this is America. Citizens of this country have the right to own private property, and we also have very good private property laws that protect our ownership. Both the 5th and the 14th Amendments to the Constitution prohibit the government from taking over private property. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, ma'am. Next presenter is Joe Rodriguez.
Morning, Judge.
Morning, sir.
Commissioners.
Morning.
I'm here to talk about the budget. I'm aware that we're $21 million short, but we met it for the county. My problem is why don't we put a freeze on hiring people for positions that really are not needed in this county, the precinct and in the county? The other one is, why does every county precinct need 4x4s when it's not a necessity? Okay, we can go around with little cars, little two-wheel drives. The government does it. Why can't we? It's just a luxury that the county and the taxpayers do not need. The other one is, that is the reason why we're in the pickle that we are today, is because it's spend, spend, spend. I want this money for this and that, and we need to stop that. We need to get back our civil servants and not personal servants in office. Not pointing the finger at everybody, just some of us, okay? I am guilty of that at times, but that's my gripe. Why don't we stop the spending, unnecessary spending that is going on? Signs being put up at taxpayers' money, expense, those need to be stopped. That's it. Please get us out of this mess. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next presenter is Manuela Luna. Good morning, Ms. Luna.
Buenos días. Yo he venido simplemente a darle las gracias. Mi nombre es Manuela Luna, soy de la colonia Spanish Palm y soy miembro de Lupe, la voz del pueblo. Y quiero expresarle las gracias así. Gracias te doy a Isi Cuellar por apoyar a nuestra gente, por visitar las colonias y siempre darnos la frente. Tenemos nuestros aliados, no los podemos negar. Con nuestros comisionados, los drenajes nos pondrán. Con Lupe, la voz del pueblo, y con todos sus aliados, hoy les daremos las gracias a nuestros comisionados. Gracias, señores, por apoyarnos bastante. Gracias, señor juez.
Gracias. Gracias.
Es todo, gracias.
Next presenter.
Karina asked me if I could translate, but I don't think I could translate a poem. But she's referring to earlier about the drainage project in their colonia in Spanish Palms, which she's been working with and been working closely with Commissioner Cuellar with some of the drainage bond money and disaster recovery money. I'm not exactly sure, but it's been a long time coming for her. So she's been working with Lupe, so I just wanted to express that in English as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Diaz. Next presenter is Lupita Pruneda.
Buenos días, señor juez.
Buenos días,
comisionados. Mi nombre es María Guadalupe Pruneda, de la colonia Linda Vista, y mi compañera Yolanda Muñoz, de la colonia Homar Meros. Somos miembros de Lupe, como nuestras otras compañeras que hablaron. Nosotros también quisiéramos hacer un comentario para el comisionado del precinto número 3. Lamentamos que no esté presente nuestro comisionado, pero esperamos que él vea este video para que se entere de nuestra petición. La colonia Linda Vista y Homar Meros están en discusión para recibir ayuda de los 3.6 millones del bono para drenaje. Ya hemos solicitado una junta con el señor comisionado Joe Flores para conversar de cómo estas dos colonias serán aliviadas de nuestras necesidades que existen. Queremos aclarar que el precinto número 3 tiene plan para ayudar a estas dos comunidades de una manera significativa con este dinero de los bonos para drenaje. Esperamos que nos dé una junta el comisionado en las próximas semanas o cuando él lo disponga. Muchas gracias y que Dios los bendiga. Esta es nuestra necesidad.
Hello. Hi, I'm going to translate for Lupita Pruneda. She comes from the Colonia Linda Vista, and with her compañera Yolanda Muñoz from La Homa Meadows. Unfortunately, Joe Flores isn't here today to hear this petition, but they recently requested a meeting with Joe Flores to talk about the 3.6 million drainage bonds money. They want to clarify that Precinct 3 plans on helping Colonia Linda Vista and La Homa Meadows in a significant way, and we're going to be waiting for a meeting with Joe Flores. Thank you.
Gracias.
Thank you. Next presenter is Eva Carranza.
Buenos días, mi nombre es Eva Carranza, yo soy residente de la colonia South Tower Estates, al sur de Álamo. Yo solamente estoy aquí para agradecer a nuestro comisionado Héctor Tito Palacios por el trabajo que está haciendo en nuestras comunidades, porque está cumpliendo su palabra, está gastando el dinero del bono en lo que nos prometió, y también porque está presente siempre que lo invitamos a nuestras juntas en nuestras colonias. Él hace lo posible por asistir y por eso estamos muy agradecidas. En nombre de nuestras comunidades, muchas gracias.
Gracias. Commissioner?
Yeah, Judge, I placed myself on the agenda just to potentially comment back to some of the requests or some of the things that came out in open forum. I do want to thank Lupe. They've been an impeccable partner for everything that we do out there. I know Rise is there when addressing all the concerns of infrastructure out in our rural area. It's been a wonderful partnership. I know that we've addressed a lot of infrastructure, and we're looking at a lot of quality of life projects out in the rural area. But I want to commend them for the work that they're doing and representing the people of the rural area. I do want to say that in regards to maybe some of the criticisms related to our shortfall budget, I'll take the comment earlier related to 4x4s versus more economical vehicles. Obviously, we have to have a balance of both. We are first responders when it comes down to hurricanes. There is an expectation that we respond, and we have to have our adequate tools to be able to respond. So some of these some equipment that we do have to have the capability of responding to a lot of the emergency needs of our county. Other than that, I'd like to continue to report to the people that we're available to them. Our office is located on Doolittle Road. We do have a 7-day operation, and we'll be happy to assist in any questions, concerns that they may have. We'd love to address them there on a one-on-one. Although we do appreciate open forum, it's a good opportunity to hear have the pulse of our people, whether they are here for commendation or criticism. It's our duty to be able to hear them all. But that's merely my comments, Judge, for this morning.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Olivares, Eddie?
Morning, Judge, Commissioners. Just very quickly, I just want to let you know that we've started with our operations and dealing with our wellness component. Since the first part of last week, we started doing our flu vaccination clinics throughout the county. We've already vaccinated over 600 employees within the county. And we also vaccinated for Tdap, for tetanus, diphtheria, and pertussis over 150. So the direction this is going is a positive direction. We already have clinics scheduled throughout the rest of the month of October and even into November. This Friday, we will be at the county judge's office. We'll be serving county judge's staff along with staff from HR, elections, and as well as some of the other county departments that are within the perimeter of that area, along with scheduling some other activities. This in turn will help produce a cost savings to the county, not only by generating some income, but also generating a healthier workforce that would decrease the number of absences due to illness and sickness. That's my comments, sir.
Very good, Eddie. I want to tell you that one of your nurses gave me a shot, had a very light hand.
Yes.
Didn't even feel it.
Nelda. The secret is baby needles. That's the secret. Thin needles. That's the secret.
And we need to encourage all our employees. It's a free service for them to become inoculated with that flu shot.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next presenter is Valdeguerra.
Thank you, Judge, Commissioners. I'll make this brief as we do have a long agenda, but I will address the two issues that were brought up. The building at our administration building does not close for lunch. We do have operational hours. Tax office is open, executive office is open. The budget office, through the executive office, handles any departmental requests that come in. The bulk of the administration building, with the exception of the tax office, are for the internal users. The budget office is an internal department for all county departments, as is the county auditor's office for all internal departments. All vendor issues are facilitated through meetings. Secondly, I find it interesting that that the impression was that I was upset that individuals were in the building. That couldn't be furthest from the truth. The comments that I made to staff were from a security standpoint. We have had numerous incidents in the building, as well as other county buildings. We have safety protocols that we follow. My comments to staff were why were not our safety protocols followed on that particular day. It's been brought to my attention that that's not been the only day that the door that in question was open. Again, this has more to do with safety protocols. Judge, Commissioners, we see it in the news weekly about incidents in government facilities. And we always believe that it'll never happen here. And so, again, this has nothing to do with individuals walking around. Full transparency. And for the record, the individual that was being referred to was myself. Full transparency. So, my only comments, Judge.
All right, thank you, sir. Let's proceed. Item 7A, we're running a little late on our meeting, Bud.
7A, 1 and 2, there's no action unless there's action to be taken further down the agenda. And for this week, there is no report under 7B, 1, 2, and 3. Item 7C, I'm asking 2 settlement checks to be approved and accepted, one for $4,721.48, and the others for $898.95. This will settle an auto accident involving one of our county vehicles as well as a utility trailer.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you, Judge, Commissioners.
Our Human Resources,
Good morning. Sylvia Rios with Human
Good morning.
Resources. Our item is with the Sheriff's Department, with Sheriff's Office. Approval of employees reassignment as follows pursuant to Section 3.49 of the Civil Service Commission rules. Employee number 157058, slot 166, from Department Account 280001 to slot 9, account number 125032. Employee number 175633, slot 9, from account number 125032 to slot number 166, account number 280001. Employee number 098957, slot 4, from account number 280022 to slot number 7, in account number 125032. And employee number 171395, slot 7, account number 125032 to slot number 4, in account number 280022.
Move for approval of 8.
Second.
8A1.
those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. These are not new positions, they're
No,
just
sir,
reassignments.
they're just being reassigned. Thank you.
Thank you. Our number 9, our DA's office.
Morning, Judge, Commissioners. We're requesting approval to remove auto allowance from slot 53, Criminal Investigator 1, in the amount of $3,600, and authorize auto allowance for slot 34, Criminal Investigator 3, in the amount of $3,600.
Move for approval 1 and 2.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye,
And
motion
Roy,
carries.
Is that vehicle allowance adequate for the need that they have, the amount stipulated on the agenda?
The $3,600
Yes,
are
sir.
those individuals that don't have a vehicle assigned to them.
Okay.
They're in the office, so
It helps.
that's their compensation throughout the year.
Okay, so you feel that what they're being compensated is adequate?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Item 10, our Sheriff's Office.
Judge, Commissioners, Richard Azuno, Hidalgo County Sheriff's Office, on behalf of the Sheriff, Guadalupe López Toribio. 10A, pursuant to Hidalgo County Cellular Telephone Policy under the DIR SDD 1780 with Sprint for consideration, acceptance, and approval of the cellular phone request for data access.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item number 1 under the 10 is the approval for the requisition 243596 for one Tri-Fi modem at no charge and the Sierra Tri-Fi modem unlimited data access at $42.99 a month.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Our health department, is there anything to present?
None.
Okay, then move on to our indigent health, well,
Nothing neither.
the same one, nothing. Our fire marshal, item 12. He wants us to pay an invoice of
A claim.
$85 to reimburse one of his deputies because he paid it out of his own pocket. If there's no questions, entertain a motion to
So
approve.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Item 13, emergency management.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Belinda
Morning.
Alvarez, Emergency Management for Oscar Montoya. Agenda item 13A is requesting consideration and authorization for Hidalgo County to execute the Second Amendment to the 2009 LEAP SHSP Grant Interlocal Cooperation Agreement between Hidalgo County and the City of McAllen for the purpose of transferring equipment for the regional radio system.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 14,
For HIDA?
yes.
Yeah, yes. They're asking approval to process some AT&T claims or invoices. They're, as stated on the agenda, $168.68, $186.83, and $355.51. There is a point of information by the auditor's office that they'll be processed upon verification of the rates and confirmation that the long-distance calls are for business purposes only.
Mr. Guerra, the question that I have is, are we ever going to get all of these telephone services within the contract with state?
Yes, purchasing and IT, we're wrapping it up. Marty, I know that Mr. Ramirez has stated that in the last couple of claims, but.
The last few meetings.
Right, the last few meetings.
Meeting with AT&T to finalize the DIR rates that will be applicable to this. It has been difficult. We have been communicating with them, and we hope to have it wrapped up very soon. But it is difficult to get the rates listed by them so that the auditing process can be made easier. But we are working on it. It's been continuous.
Thank you, ma'am.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 15, urban county.
Good morning, Judge Commissioners. Our first item on the agenda is requesting authorization for the Lone Star National Bank to close the following account. That would be the conference account 71015655. We currently have a balance of 0, and that is the conference account that was in operation for the Urban County Conference.
All right.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
The next item is a request on behalf of the City of Westlaco requesting the approval and award of best and final negotiating contract with Robert Kistner Consultants, Inc. in the amount of $6,306.85 for a water and sewer improvement project in an area known as Cedro and Pino from Toritos to Railroad.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
We are requesting no action on the next item, which is to conduct a public hearing. We advertised for the meeting originally for the 8th. The court had the meeting on the 7th, and we have not republished.
So you're requesting no action on C1?
C1 and C2.
All right.
We will bring that
Move on
back to the
D.
court. Okay. I'm sorry?
Now we're at D, correct?
Yes, sir. Okay, D is to hold a public hearing to consider comments for Hidalgo County's request to submit a performance statement and budget amendment. So if you, this amendment will be for the Self-Help Central Program Contract 712013 under the Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs, Office of Colonia Initiative.
This time we're convening such hearing, a public hearing to consider this issue. Is there anyone here to speak in favor of or in opposition on this matter?
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Good
Once
morning,
again,
sir.
thanks for letting me ask a couple of questions. My concern and questions relate to item E, the Urban County Program.
We're not there yet, Mr. Travers.
I'll wait momentarily.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anyone else that'd like to make a comment at this public hearing? All right, at this time, we'll close the public hearing and proceed to item D2.
B2 is requesting the approval to submit a performance statement and budget amendment, number 1, to the Hidalgo County Colonia Self-Help Center Contract Grant 712013. This will allow the program to provide additional opportunities to the residents of the colonias, as well as to include $400,000, which will be contributed on behalf of Proyecto Azteca.
Move for approval.
Second.
Oh,
Those in favor say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries. All right, now move
Judge,
on
I've
to
been asked
item
a
E.
question by Ms. Townsend regarding the explanation of what a self-help center is.
I'm sorry, I didn't, can you get close to that?
I'm sorry. Ms. Townsend has asked that I explain what a self-help center program is. So I could meet with you separately, but initially, in a nutshell, it is when someone needs housing assistance, people live in colonias, they end up contributing 550 hours of their own time to participate in the construction of their own home. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Go on to item E.
Okay. Item E is our final item, and this is on behalf of the City of Hidalgo requesting the approval of the amendment of the professional service agreement with EGV Architects to increase the agreement by $39,679.73 utilizing the CDBG funds. This, of course, will be for the development of a preservation plan that was requested by the Texas Historical Commission. And I understand Mr. Travers has some comments.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Travers.
Again, good morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Yes, sir.
This last item attracted my attention. All of the other items on Urban County seem to involve specific improvements to streets or drainage or something of that nature. This is the development of a preservation master plan, which appeared would be a report or documents of some kind.
That's right.
39,000 also indicated it was just an increase of an existing contract. I was curious about the total amount to develop this. And I've spoken before about the grants being available, and just because a grant is available doesn't necessarily make it a good idea. So I looked into the background of material which is made available on this, and it appears on this development of a master plan over a 4-year period, a little over $1 million as indicated in that information that's furnished as being available. So my curiosity is how much of that has been spent or is still to be pulled down and used. This sounds like a tremendous amount of money to present a plan. And naive logic to begin with, it would seem if the Historical Commission were given a good series of photographs and a valid, authentic historical picture of the whole area, that should be all they would need to simply declare it the preservation area. I'm curious as to how much of the $1 million has been spent is still available, and specifically, just because grants are available, we all have to pay for it. And if it can be done for less money, I think that's a laudable thing. We should not just try to use it because it's there. My question, over a 4-year period, could some of this work might go to, the money go to consultants who some don't even live in Hidalgo County, could not it be performed by staff in-house to meet all their needs for a lesser dollar amount? Looks like a large amount. It just raised my questions. I don't expect a comprehensive answer like this quickly.
Well, this is not our project. It's a City of Hidalgo's project, and they appear to be complying with a requirement of the Texas Historical Commission to submit a comprehensive master plan.
I understand, Judge. My only question, is it being done as economically as possible? If we can save federal funds or whatever the source of it is, we all pay for it. And it
Yes.
just looks like a lot of money to develop a plan.
Thank
I don't expect a specific answer.
Thank
you
you.
very much.
I can provide a specific answer. The funding available is $1,009,000. This is not for architectural and plans only. This includes the overall budget for the actual construction to ensure that the building is preserved as the Texas Historical Commission requires. So we're not spending it all on consultants.
All right, need a motion to approve.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Item 16, our Elections Office.
Good morning, Judge Commissioners. Amanda Valdez for
Morning.
Yvonne Ramon. We're asking for approval on 16A, and that includes 1 and 2, approval of interlocal agreement between Hidalgo County and Rockwell County that will allow Hidalgo County to participate in the Texas Effective Absentee Systems for Elections EASE grant project. This grant will help 50 Texas counties to provide a greater access to online services and tools in order to make the voting process easier and simpler for our growing population of military and overseas voters, with the authorization for county judge to sign all pertinent documents. Do you want me to go into 1 and 2?
Yes.
Okay. The sample ballot delivery is a live ballot. Sample ballot technology gives any voter, regardless of ability, access to an online audio-enabled voter-specific sample ballot. Live ballot allows every voter an equal opportunity to learn about the candidates and issues appearing on the ballot before they go to the polls. Access to a sample ballot will help all voters be better informed and will increase participation levels among voters with disabilities. Military and overseas ballot delivery. Rockwell County leads a consortium of 50 Texas counties representing more than 15,500 military and overseas Texans by applying for and being awarded and fully funded Federal Voting Assistance EASE 2.0 grant. The name of our consortium is Your Texas, Your Vote. The goal of Your Texas, Your Vote is to provide greater access to online services and tools in order to make the voting process easier and simpler for our growing population of uniformed and overseas citizens Absentee Voting Act voters.
Move for approval of 16A 1 and 2.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, 16B, approval of lease contract for election services between Hidalgo County and the City of Edcouch for their election to be held on November 5th, 2013.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
C is discuss, amend, and approve early voting poll site changes, extending the voting hours through 7 p.m. on October 30th, 2013 at the STC Mid-Valley campus in Weslaco. And it's on your handout. It's the first page. It's the only change that's being requested is what's highlighted at the bottom right corner. Last week, you had approved to extend the hours on the 21st and 22nd for 2 campuses. Now we're asking to extend for an event that is happening at the STC Mid-Valley campus to 7 o'clock on October 30th.
So extend one more day, October 30th?
On October 30th, instead of going 8 to 5 at that certain location, it'll be open, the polls will be open till 7 o'clock.
Is there going to be an additional cost? I'm sure there is.
The request is being made by STC, so it is something that is going to be at a shared cost with STC.
Oh, you'll
because
be able
it's
to collect it from them.
Right, for payroll.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And I just wanted to give you a little bit of information. At the back of that packet, there is a schedule. Mobile stations will be in Hidalgo County starting Wednesday to issue election identification certificates. That is the schedule that's at the back there. Certificates are available without charge to qualified Texas voters who do not already have an approved form of photo ID, which is now required for voting in person. EICs would normally have to be obtained at the Department of Public Safety driver's license offices, and now we are making that easier, going out into the community and being at these locations. If anybody needs the locations that I've given you, we're going to have them on our website, or you can call our office. The website address is www.hgoco.net/elections, or you can call 318-2570. Thank you.
Thank you. Head Start program?
No action.
No action. Item 18, our WIC program.
Good morning, Judge Commissioners. I have the receipt of the WIC grant. It's the approval of contract between DSHS and Hidalgo County for the provision of WIC services for FY 2014, beginning October 1st, 2013 to March 31st, 2014.
Move for approval.
Second.
There's a motion
and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Number 2 is approval for the county judge to sign the following documents. A, Hidalgo County Health and Human Service Core Contract 2014, and B, Hidalgo County Health and Human Service Lobby Form.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
B is requesting approval to process the following: the monitor invoice as claims with the authority for county treasurer to issue the check after procedures are completed by the county auditor. The vendor is the monitor invoice number 4001-4217 dated 8/3/2013 for the amount of $400.
Move for approval.
Second.
There's a motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Next item. Ray.
Commissioner, the Attorney General's office modified the Chapter 59 report for, that is supposed to be prepared by the District Attorney's office and also other law enforcement agencies. It used to be that the county judge was required to certify that an audit was conducted. Now, the form requires that the auditor certify that an audit has been requested by the County Commissioners Court. So that hence this action requesting your approval for me to conduct an audit of that report.
So you need approval on
I
this?
need approval in order for me to be able to certify that you requested for me to conduct an audit. We audit this report every year, but in the past, county judge was required to certify that an audit was conducted. Judge, we're talking about the Chapter 59 report?
Yes.
You know, in the past, you were required to certify that an audit was conducted, therefore you wanted for us to conduct an audit? The form changed, and now this year, they're requiring for me to certify that the Commissioners Court requested an audit. So now I'm having an agenda item to formalize that request and.
I mean, that's been the same request all along, and all you have done is submitted a letter. That's my recollection as to what has happened in the past.
No, in the past, you were required to certify that an audit was conducted, and we used to do a review of the report, and you required for us to do an audit in order for you to be able to sign off on the document, remember?
But there's no new law change. The legislature didn't do anything different, did they?
No, what changed was the form itself. Now the form requires that the county auditor certified that the Commissioners Court requested an audit. And
If we don't request an audit, it's mandatory. The state requires it. And that's been required every year for quite some time now.
The law says the Commissioners Court should conduct an audit. And I was conducting the audit on behalf of the Commissioners Court at your request, Judge Murmer.
But what I'm saying is that's the same law that has been in the books for many years.
Correct.
And all we've done is submit a letter acknowledging, I guess, what's there.
No, you had to sign a report, and now the report changed, and now the report requires that the auditor certify that the Commissioners Court has requested an audit. So that's why have this agenda item to formalize.
Do you have the form with you, sir?
Not with me. I can provide you a form to show the change. We're presently conducting an audit of the District Attorney's Office, and the report is due at the end of this month.
Well, we're not requesting an audit. I think you need to comply with the statute and conduct the audit that's required by statute. I don't want it to come out in the community that the Commissioners Court is concerned about anything related to this report. I mean, let's just keep on doing what we've been complying, the way we've been complying with for these many, many years.
Right. But again, the law says the Commissioner Court should conduct an audit. And you don't conduct the audit, I do. But in the past.
No, wait a minute. Who is responsible for doing the audit?
According to the law, the
Who?
statute says the Commissioner's Court should conduct an audit. And in the past, the Auditor's Office always conducted that audit. The form itself required for the county judge to attest and certify that an audit was conducted. So that's what he was doing, the county judge was doing that, because the county judge was required to sign it.
This is what I had, I've been questioning this in the years past, and your response to me was that all we had to do was, to comply with this section, was submit a letter response, and that there was no need for a full-blown audit.
No, it's not an audit, Judge, it's a report, and the report is required to be certified in the past by the county judge. Now the form is changed, and now the county auditor is required to certify that an audit was required by the Commissioner's Court.
Well, why don't you give us what you've done in the past and let us look at it, and then we'll go along and certify that you've complied with the statute.
Okay, because again, I'm going to be required to submit this report. Well, actually, the District Attorney's Office has to submit this report to the state at the end of October. And, but if you want me to send you the form so you can see where the change has been made on the form itself, I can do that and wait and bring back this item. This item needs to be approved by the Commissioner.
And if you could bring the form the old form and the new form, the one that has the change that you're saying is there.
Is it attached to the agenda caption? Yeah, she has, but I can send it to you, Judge, so you can read it and see the change.
Rick, get a hold of those forms. All right.
So you got no action on the item?
No action.
All right.
All right, item 20.
Morning, Judge, Commissioners. Raul Silguero representing Precinct 2, Commissioner Palacios. Item 28 reads requesting approval of supplemental agreement number 5 under the current agreement with R. Gutierrez Engineering for the Nolana Loop project from FM 1426 to FM 88 to reflect revisions on Exhibit D1. And Judge, Commissioners, the agreement was approved by TxDOT on October 7th, and a copy of the letter of approval is attached.
Move for approval. Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 22, Precinct 4.
Morning, Judge, Commissioners. Joe Ochoa, Precinct 4, Right-of-Way
Morning,
Department.
sir.
Good morning. Item 22A is requesting authorization for appraisal, survey, meets and bounds, and title reports for the Sunflower Park / CRC Sanitary Sewer Improvement Project.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you. 22B, consideration and approval to purchase a certain tract of land, also known as Mile 22.5 Road Extension. Property owner Jose Juan J.J. Avila. This is for Precinct 4. This is for a 2.719 acre tract, Judge, for the extension of Mile 22.5 to connect to Carmen Avila Drive. Currently, we have a middle school and a elementary that has only one entrance and one exit. This would provide a secondary exit and entrance route.
Judge and Commissioners, we learned a lot when the Harwell incident happened where that young man got shot with the stray bullet, where emergency vehicles had problems getting in there, as well as the parents of the kids that were at those schools. The acquisition of this land allows us to extend 22.5 to provide a secondary entrance, which is going to improve security. And
Need a second?
A comment regarding that item. It says for Precinct 4, but this is for the county as a whole, right? Not for
Yeah, for the county.
precinct. Okay. Because what we've seen in the past is sometimes when property is purchased, the deed reads the department or the precinct, but it should read Hidalgo County. So
This one will read the County of Hidalgo.
County of Hidalgo.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you, Judge. Commissioners.
Item 23, our Budget Office.
Morning, Judge, Commissioner Sergio Cruz, Department of Budget Management. Item 23A is approval to pay the Texas Association of Counties the amount of $63,258.31 to cover the unemployment claims for the second quarter of 2013.
Move for approval.
Second.
Sergio, are we challenging these things? Is
The ones that are
somebody
being
showing up representing the county? That's a lot of
Yes.
money to,
Yes, they
Are
are being
we-
contested. We also have some base period claims, those are, that cannot be contested. However, there are one or two per quarter that do go uncontested, so we're trying to address that problem.
those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, motion carries. Who's got the responsibility under our policy to show up?
It's the department's responsibility. It's the actual department head that terminates the employee that has to make the claim. We have somebody from our office that's following up with the departments, advising them of the hearing dates and the notice dates.
All right, next item.
Item 23B is approval of certification of revenues as certified by the county auditor for the proceeds of the sale of land, also referred to as the Aguilar and Dickerson Pond, to the Drainage District Number 1. This is a follow-up on the previous Commissioner's Court item where we had the appropriation, but the auditor was pending certification of revenues.
Okay, everything in line?
Yes.
Move for approval?
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 23C is approval of certification of revenues as certified by the county auditor for the proceeds for the sale of assets to the Drainage District with the appropriation of those funds in the amount of $1,341,800 for the Liberty Road project from Mile 3 to FM 2221. If we can just have a correction on the agenda caption, it should exclude Tom Gill. It should only be Liberty Road.
Actually, it shouldn't, because the original interlocal agreement included both roads. The amendment took care of that.
Correct.
So, but if you refer to the original agreement, it was both roads.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's no longer the case. It's now for Liberty Road.
Liberty Road, correct.
No, the original agreement still, this was an amendment to the original agreement. The original agreement, you always refer to the original agreement as the roads in question.
Right, but the road changed. It used to be, the original
was
agreement
by-
talk about Tom Gill and Liberty Road.
That's
Correct,
by
the alignment
amendment.
changed.
The
That was by
amendment was made
amendment.
only to Liberty.
And it was,
by
it was clarified via the amendment. So the original amendment, original interlocal did reference the Tom Gill Liberty Road.
Correct.
But now the only road that will be constructed will be Liberty Road.
Move for approval?
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you, Judge Commissioners.
Thank you, sir. Item 24, purchasing.
Am I next? Martha Salazar for the Purchasing Department, 24A1. This is requesting approval of the following claims or invoices with iDocket.com for the continuous support and services provided to Hidalgo County Human Resources with the authority for the payment after processing procedures are completed. The reason these are claims is because we've had this support system since 2004, I believe. However, the agreement, since we didn't used to have them reviewed, was under that process, and there was a lot of back and forth with legal counsel. Finally, both sides came up with an agreement that will be placed on the agenda. In addition to that, this company will be declared a sole source. They are the developers of this software. But for the meantime, these are services rendered.
Move for approval?
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Acceptance and approval of the Second Amendment approved as to form by legal counsel on the existing AIA B-101 2007 standard form of agreement between the county, which is the owner, and Alcazar Garcia Associates, architect, for the revision of budget increase request in connection with architectural services. It's for the new constable building.
Move for approval?
Check.
Steve, do these contracts, the AIA, do they have those arbitration clauses?
No,
No, these are
that we
modified
remove 'em.
AIA contracts. We've taken the original AIA and modified it.
They're part of the
And deleted arbitration.
Those in
Correct.
favor say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
The next item is requesting exemption from under 262-024A4, a professional service.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Presentation of the scoring grid for the purposes of Hidalgo County finding the vendor from the professional pool of review appraisal service providers as qualified to go to the next step.
Move for
And that's
approval?
HLH Appraisal Services.
Check.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried. There was only one.
Right, we have a lot of appraisers, but this is review appraisal services.
All right.
Marty, and the reviewers of those proposals or qualifications is the precinct staff?
Is the precinct staff.
One person?
Correct. They are the end user. So is that been approved? Okay. Item C, authority for purchasing department to negotiate a professional review appraisal services provider with HLH.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item 2 is requesting exemption again under professional services, under 262-024A.
Second.
Those in favor say aye. Aye, motion carries.
Presentation of the scoring grid for the purposes of ranking by Commissioners Court of the firms graded and evaluated through the county's approved pool of professional surveyors. That was Dos Land Surveying at 98, CVQ Surveyors at 95, and R. Gutierrez Engineering at 93. Does the court wish to rank them in the order of their scores?
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor say aye. Aye, motion carries.
Authority for purchasing to negotiate a professional surveying services agreement with Dos Land Surveying.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Marty, on item 1, is there a need to grade someone where you only have one?
There's a grade in as far, that's our protocol.
Because
We're
it's
following the protocol.
So like a sole source, right?
Well, yes, he's a sole provider.
Right.
However, according to the statute, it's the best qualified, so we're just following the
Purchasing is
protocol that we set
following
up.
the statutory requirements.
Right. Going to item 3, requesting exemption under Texas Local Government Code 262-024A4 for a professional service.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor say aye. Aye, motion carries.
Presentation of the scoring grid for the purposes of ranking of the firms graded and evaluated through the approved pool of professional, I believe, engineering services providers. This architectural here, I apologize. And that's Rabba Kistner at 98, Amtech Building Science at 94, and Mata Garcia at 92. Does the court wish to rank them in the order of their scores?
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Authority to negotiate an engineering services agreement with the number 1 ranked of Rabba Kistner.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye. Aye, motion carries.
Requesting authority to advertise with approval of plans and specifications developed by project architect Mata Garcia Architects for Precinct 4's construction of Community Resource Center in San Carlos.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item D1 is recommendation by project engineer Half Associates for Commissioners Court to award to the lowest bidder meeting all specifications, Herrera and Hunt Incorporated, in the amount of $259,000 for bid number 2013 for Hidalgo County Sheriff's Office facility modifications to incorporate Motorola and 911 equipment.
Move for approval.
Judge, this is the item that is tied to the consent agenda item that you
Right.
approved.
Yes.
So there's no funding in place for this item.
I think that was the discussion you had earlier with budget on
Yeah.
his concern about it.
Explain how we're going to get the funds.
Again, that project was funded with certificates of obligation. Again, it's still Mr. Ufacio's contention that that does not meet our capital asset guideline, the reason for his concern. But again, we already went through this in the morning as far as that it does, it
Are you
is a...
saying the funding is in place or will be
Yes,
in place?
it is in place, given the item that was passed on the consent
Okay.
agenda. However, the auditor still does not feel that that should be a capital expense. And as such, he probably would not approve the purchase order through the use of CO funds.
Need a motion to approve them?
So move.
Second.
Those in favor say aye. Aye, motion carries. Pursuant to 551.071 and 072 of the Texas Local Government Code, need a motion to proceed to executive session.
So move.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you. We'll be in executive session.
The judge is buying your meal soon.
All right, we're back in open session on this meeting of today, October the 15th, 2013. Nos faltaba leche.
Aldi.
Judge, under item 26, open session, real estate acquisition, appropriation, same, no action. Pending potential litigation, no action. 26C will proceed as directed, which is deliberation regarding following economic development negotiations pursuant to Chapter 551 Texas Government Code, Section 551.087, project domain. Item D, Irtala Lopez versus Juan Vasquez in Hidalgo County, Texas, in the 139th District Court of Hidalgo County. Proceed as directed, and for the record, that is being facilitated by Ms. Josephine Ramirez's office from the District Attorney's Office. Item E, Brian Valadez versus Hidalgo County Judge Commissioners. I would ask the court if they would entertain a motion tendering or SIR, which is the, stands for self-insured retention. In this case, to our insurance carrier, that dollar amount, $31,113.56.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item F, claim of Leonor Ortiz Torres, Judge Commissioners. I'd like settlement authority to make an offer in the amount of $6,500. If the court does entertain the $6,500 offer, I would also ask that a check be made to Leonor Ortiz Torres and their attorney, or his attorney, Raul Rudy Rodriguez, Professional Corporation.
Raul Rodriguez?
Yes, sir.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item G, claim of Yesenia Rojas Ortiz. Judge Commissioners, I'd like settlement authority to make an offer in the amount of $6,000. Again, if the court entertains the motion, I'd like a check, or when we settle this, a check be made out to Jessica Rojas Ortiz and her attorney of record, Raul Rudy Rodriguez, Professional Corporation.
Move for approval.
Second. That would settle.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Yes.
Aye, motion carries.
Yes.
Final, yeah.
And item G, Hidalgo County versus Iram Maldonado, Judge Commissioners. Again, for the record, this is being facilitated by Ms. Josephine Ramirez's office from the District Attorney's Office, and will just proceed as directed. And under the addendum, there is no action under the potential land acquisition.
Need a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you.
Thank you.
Gentlemen.